This is a Coachman Wandera 13.2, just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll take you through this in person here on site. In the front locker you have your gas bottle with gas regulator on the bulkhead, and the pipe work coming to the bottle is a reverse thread fitment that goes into the gas bottle itself, and you've got the gas valve on top of the bottle for turning the gas supply on and off. In the front locker also you'll find your leg winder for the caravan. Down the side of the van you have your wind down leg, and you have one of these on either side of the front of the van. They are just there for stabilising the caravan, not lifting the caravan. If you lift the caravan with these, it could potentially damage the floor of the van. You've then got your battery box with quick release terminals on top. During winter storage I would advise you disconnect one of these just so it doesn't put a drain on the battery, as if they're left connected it could have a bit of residual power going through the 12 volt system. You have your mains lead coming into the side of the caravan, that connects to the power on site, and then you have your motor mover power switch behind that. The water pump connects straight into the side of the van, as you can see here. So you've got the blue trigger here that you press down to release it, and the blue trigger you push down to push the pump into the side of the van. The actual pump itself will drop inside the aqua roll. On the side of the van you've got your heating and hot water flue. The heating and hot water flue is essentially there for when you're running the gas systems on board the van. You do need to remove it before you ignite anything on gas inside of the van, but we do advise you get into a habit of removing it when you set up on site anyway. You then got your motor mover and wheel nuts. The motor mover is will be demonstrated while you're here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts so you can see they've been torqued to the correct setting. You've then got your toilet flush tank. The toilet flush tank takes 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. So you put your key in, open it up, drop this flap down. You can put it in with a watering can or bottles, etc., however you wish to. Down the bottom here we have our toilet waste cassette. So the toilet waste cassette is very simple to use. You pull up the yellow handle and pull the cassette towards you. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away. The cap is a measure for the pink and blue fluid. On the back of the cassette you have a yellow pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. Before you use this cassette you'll need to put 1 litre of water in here and a cap full of the blue fluid. On the back of the van on either side you have your wind down legs to stabilise the van, and again like I said at the front they are only there for stabilising, they are not there for lifting the van. Again, it could potentially damage the floor of the caravan. On the back of the van you have your two grey waste pipes go. So essentially these are to allow the dirty water that comes through the sinks and the shower to come out the back of the van. So you'd have 2 bits of grey pipe that go into the larger diameter holes on the outside, and they'll drop down inside the waste master. On the door side of the van you have your 2 fridge vents. 2 fridge vents are simply there to allow hot air at the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. Behind one of these also there'll be a gas flue, so we don't advise you cover these up at any time, especially when, or you can cover them up for winter storage, but don't cover them up when the fridge is in use. You've then got your heating vent that allows heat out into the awning, and I'll show you how that operates from the inside. You've got a TV connection point with a 3-pin socket on the outside, so again you can have power coming out to your awning. Under-seat storage for the front of the van, and your barbecue gas point, and then your wind down leg for this side of the van. Going on to the inside of the caravan. Just shut the door up. Above the door we have the main control panel for the van. Now obviously you can see the aqua roll and everything was connected up on the outside already, so we're just going to turn on the master power, which it is on. You've got your voltmeter on the left hand side to tell you how much is in the battery on board the van. You've got your awning light for the outside of the caravan. You've got your interior lights, and you've got your water pump run. The water pump run I will come back to in a moment and demonstrate how that works. The first thing we're going to need to do is, once the caravan's set up, we're going to need to fill the water system up so you've got water on board the van. Obviously every time you leave the van you should drain down all of the water outside from the onboard water system, due to the fact it could potentially freeze if there was a bad spell of weather, and it could potentially crack open the taps and all of the pipe work around the van, including the hot water tank if it did freeze. It was a heavy freeze, or frost to say. The taps we're going to put over the sink, as you can imagine, and we're going to open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system to fill the system up. We'll do the same with the shower in the bathroom and the sink as well. We'll then come underneath the seat on the front right hand side of the caravan, And underneath this seat, you will actually find, if I go in the right position, we'll find a yellow drain down valve. That is, when I can see it, which is just tucked away just there, as you can see. Now, both of these yellow valves need to be parallel with the floor as they are now for you to be able to fill the water system up. To drain the system down, you'd need to make sure both of these yellow valves were pointing up towards the bottom of the seat. They are a very simple flick over valve, so you can literally open them up, push them upwards towards the bottom of the seat, or push them over the other side so you can fill the water system up. So it's a three-way valve essentially. Like I said, to fill the system, you'll very simply shut them valves up, make sure your taps are open, and then come to the control panel above the door. And then you can turn on the water pump, and with the taps open, when the water system fills up, which it should do in a few moments' time, once the water system is full, you'll have water running out every tap continuously, and then you can shut each tap off. So once the system's full, like I said, you'll shut each tap off, and that'll be the water system full. At that point, you can start warming the water on board the caravan. Now, to do this, below the seat on the right hand side front of the van, you have two switches. The one on the right hand side here is your electric water heater switch, and that will warm the water system up to a preset temperature of around 35 to 40 degrees. If you're on mains power, you can use that switch just there. However, when you're showering on board the van, the electric system won't boost the water system on its own. You would in fact need to use the gas, or if you're off grid, you'd need to use the gas for powering the water system. And to do that, you spin the outer grey dial around here with the gas bottle turned on. The green light that you can see appearing there is your pilot light, essentially. However, in a moment it will fail and it will come up with a red light just due to the fact the gas bottle isn't turned on. But what you can do is, once it has ignited and that green light is permanently green, so like after 3 or 4 seconds it will go red, as I believe it has now, you can then control the temperature of the water between 30 and 70 degrees. To boost the system while you're showering, you would need to have it higher than the electric water heating switch. And that, like I said, that is around 35 to 40 degrees. So if you had it on 50, for instance, for showering, it would actually then boost as you're showering on board the van. Essentially, whichever number you have above the green light just here is the temperature the water system will warm up to. To turn off the gas supply, you'll spin that dial around to the off position on the right hand side. To heat the caravan, you have two ways of doing that. You have electric and gas. So just here on the wall on the other side of the van, by the seating area, you have your control for running the heating system on electric. So that's your ultra heat switch. If you had 500 watts of power available from the site you're on, you could select the 500 down the side here, 1000 or 2000 depending on which site you're on. You can select the correct power source, but the only way you'd know if it was the correct power source is by asking the site office when you arrive on your holiday. And then once you've got the correct power source sorted, you can control the temperature of the heater on the dial in the centre here between 1 and 9. The higher you go, obviously, the hotter the water system will be, the hotter the heating will be. On top of the heater itself, you have your option for running gas. Again, this is very simple to do. You have the dial here, you spin the dial round between 10 and 9, hold down the gas valve and hit the igniter. Down the front of the heater itself, you have a little window down here. That is your pilot light window. It's around a 45-degree angle. From looking at the front of the heater, you'll see it. So the sort of angle we're looking at it now with the camera. And once it has ignited and you've got a pilot light in there, we advise you hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds just to allow everything to warm up correctly and start burning properly. Then slowly release the gas valve after that 5 to 10 seconds. You can then control the temperature of the heater on gas on the dial on top. The caravan also has blown air heating, so that's what you see these little vents for, above that little cabinet at the bottom there, the little circular vents. And that works very similar to the system you have in your car. The dot here in the centre allows the heat to come out the front of the heater. The wave symbol on the left hand side here allows the heat to come out on continuous blown air from the vents around the caravan. So now the heat will be coming out these vents just here, and any other vents that are in the van. So that's continuous blown air. Also, if you've got the heating turned off, you can use the blown air to blow a bit of cool air around the van on a hot day. If we go to the A on the opposite side here, that is automatic blown air. So essentially the blown air system will cut in and out with the thermostat on board the caravan. You can control the fan speed on continuous or automatic blown air on the dial on top, very similar to what you've got in your car. The fridge system, again, very simple to use. You'll use the power button on the front of the fridge. Press the button and the fridge will come on. At the moment, as you can see, we're on mains power. So when you're on mains or gas, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. I do apologise, not clearing up very quick today, the camera. But as you can see, you can control the temperature on the button on the right hand side. You can change the power source you want to use by pressing the grey button on the left hand side. And at the moment, as you can see, we're on 12 volt mode. It's flashing here at the bottom due to the fact we have no car connected. So essentially the 12 volt mode on the fridge is a cool box system. So when you connect it to the car, you can come inside the caravan. You do not have to have the power switch on above the door, as in the main control panel just up there. You can simply just turn the fridge on, select the 12 volt mode, and the fridge will start chilling, like I said, as a cool box. So when you get on site, the beers and wine are nice and cold. If we want to operate the fridge on gas, again we'll hit the button and it will go over to the gas mode. Now as long as the gas bottle's turned on, it will self-ignite on gas. Very similar to the 12 volt mode, if it fails to come on gas, it'll actually flash this blue light. If that blue light is solid, like it is now, then it means the fridge has ignited on gas. To turn the fridge back off, you'll press and hold the power button and the fridge will go off. The cooker in the van works very much like your household cooker. Again, if you've got gas available, if you've got gas turned on, then you'll just be able to ignite it on the igniter on the front and control the operation on the dials on the front of the cooker itself. In the bathroom, you have your toilet, which is the last thing we go through on the van. Pump system on the toilet, up and down to flush the toilet. Red indicator light here to let you know when the toilet waste cassette under the van is full. The toilet seat does turn for your convenience, so you can turn the seat round, as you can see here, to a position that's more suited. But if the toilet seat is turned as it is now, you will not be able to remove the toilet cassette from underneath the van. The reason being, it actually locks the cassette in place, and that is the same if you have the toilet waste door open. So the toilet waste door is this one just here, which allows the toilet waste into the cassette underneath the caravan. So that is the Coachman Wandera 13.2. If you have any further questions on the van, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.